Welcome back to another art school vlog, everyone. This is gonna be quite the hectic vlog, you probably can tell based on all of my frantic filming. Because this week we finally had the group show that I've been teasing all over social media, and I talked about it last week's vlog. These are the two paintings that I have to get done in the next few days in preparation for the group show. So let's just get stuck right into it because there's a lot to do. We're gonna start off with the larger one and focus on the face because it's looking bit whack right now. So I'm laying out some of my go-to colors, which is titanium white, alizarin crimson, burnt sienna, cadmium red, cadmium yellow, ultramarine blue, and I think that's permanent rose, and some burnt umber. So basically I just want to adjust some of the proportions. I knew that this eye was just slightly off. It was a little bit too high, so I just lowered it down a little bit and just finalizing some of the other features. I want to remain as loose as possible, and I'll talk about that in a little bit on how much I actually struggled to do that. So I just want to very lightly outline some of the key features that I know that I want to render out, but I'm keeping every edge super light and soft because I didn't want to have my process be a sketch of the proportions and then I just fill in and render out the sketch. Now there's anything wrong with that, I still do that sometimes, but with this particular painting I wanted to have the features sort of emerge out of the background, and so there's going to be no harsh lines, just keeping everything as ephemeral. You know, it feels like it could just float away, nothing super rigid. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that was kind of the mindset that I was having throughout the process of this painting. And there's also a technique that I like to use a lot in my art, which is to have one side of the face more rendered than the other, and specifically this left-hand side I didn't want to be as rendered, and I put the pupil in and everything, and I just thought that was way too rigid. Like I was saying, I wanted the green glow to sort of float up and sort of soften that whole side of the face and make it look a little bit monstrous, like there's not a full human here. She's sort of like part human, part background, part green glow. It's kind of like a merging of all those things together to create quite a moody image. I think it's quite moody. It's realistic, but also like not realistic, you know, which is personally what I really like. But after coming from this painting here, where I was so tight and rigid from the very beginning in terms of how I painted it, this painting served as a test to myself to see how restrictive I could be with my realism, because I feel like once I start realistic, I can't stop and I just keep going and going and going. So with this one, I had to have so much restraint in every single brushstroke. Every single brushstroke I would think, okay, does this have a purpose? Do I really need to put this down here? And I would take it away if I decided not to already, or I would step away and take a break and look at it and be like, you know what, I don't actually see this anymore. It was a huge test on my restraint. So after rendering it for a while, I decided I needed to take a step back and hang it up and really have a good look at anything that's not working, because I've never made a painting like this before and I needed to have a clearer view of what I was actually creating. So I was gonna take this other one down and lean it on the two screws that are underneath the painting there, and then this is a live moment where I realized, you know what, that's kind of stupid. I would have to take this whole nail situation off and then I could actually hang it on this one. So I could just take this one off and then lean it on that one. It was also better on this side as well because there's a light that's right above this wall here, and so it would help me get a really good look at all of the values and all of the colors and see if anything is jarring out. And so I took a step back and I ended up really liking it actually. Like I said, it's different to anything that I've done before, and it was such a vision in my head, so to have it actually tangible was really cool to see. There's still a lot more to do on this painting. It was just the first layer of oils, but this is the two green ones together and the little green one on top. I actually really liked all three of them together. I thought that it encompassed the entire direction that I wanted to go in. And transition, this is actually the next day. Like I said, there's so much to get through that we don't really have time for clean transitions, so we're gonna work on this small one just to get the first layer of oils down, because this is all still in acrylic. So I had my palette ready to go from the day before and just got stuck right into it. And with the transitions things, guys, I am so sorry. I've had the craziest week. I can't even begin to explain everything that has happened this week. I was really focused on just getting these paintings done, and my filming did slack off a little bit, but I have tried my best to edit it, and of course I will talk through it through this voiceover to explain what the hell's happening. So as I'm going through this little painting, I'm doing the same thing as the bigger painting and trying to be as restrictive as possible, erasing things that I need to. I did want to adjust this background a little bit. As you can see, I'm referencing Justin Mortimer's work, which I referenced last week in last week's video, in mainly the areas of the toxic smoke that's coming out of the hands and stuff. But he also has this background with this ultramarine blue that I just love, and so I tried to incorporate that into my work and also have the green smoke sort of float up and fade into the background. So I added some darker greens and some lighter greens and then ended up painting it. So I rub that out and transition, move back to this painting. My teacher wanted me to adjust some things, especially this shoulder here. I needed to push it out further because the light's actually supposed to be hitting it with the lighting that I have. So I just went in and made that lighter, also emphasizing the collarbone there, just making the pose a little bit more evident, and also erase that hair strand because there's no need for it. I also, this is what I mean by I slacked on my filming, I did a lot of work on the green toxic stuff that's coming out of her body. I was really just rushing at this point because I had to leave, and I was really panicking that I was ruining it, to be honest. So I ran the painting up to my friend and I got her to quickly check if it was good, and she said that the green on her face was a little bit too much and very distracting, which I totally agree with. So I just went in and toned that down a bit and went over it with the roller just to have the focal point be more in the chest area. But I had to rush, so I had to run back and just like film what it looked like at the end of the day. But I went in super early the next day, which is the day of my group show, so I had to get these paintings done. And I was like, they're gonna be wet and I'm not gonna be happy with them because of how much I rushed it the day before. But I just took my time, I calmed down and just tweaked some things in terms of proportions and the overall finish, just adding details that I wanted, adding more contrast, adding a brighter glow in the center of the chest there. But this was pretty much my week, guys. I was just frantic. I was always on the run, I swear, and it was always about stuff that I cared about, so I felt like there was on top of it more pressure in terms of getting this group show organized, which thankfully I had such an amazing team to work with. I mean, all of the artists that I got to show with were just amazing, and they really did it. Like, they brought it all together. But I really just wanted to be happy with the artwork that I was submitting, and I felt like I wasn't because I was rushing it so much. But I finally called this one done because I mean, I didn't have enough time to keep working on it, so this one was done, and I do really like it. That thick black paint there, I just love the texture of that. That was pretty much it for painting that morning. I had to take down all the other artworks that I was submitting, which was this one as well, and I have a matching drawing from the same photo shoot that I'm including that's going to be next to it. And I'm also going to be submitting this one, which is of my friend who is an incredible artist who's also going to be in the group show. So I grabbed my tools and this massive level that I had and packed the car full of all the artwork. Sorry I didn't get any videos of me actually packing the car. It was so stressful on a time crunch because we had to be there at a certain time to submit it. But packed the van and drove all the way to the exhibition space. I'll leave all the information down below on where this exhibition is, but it's called the Goodspace Gallery and it's in the Lord Gladstone Hotel in Sydney, in Chippendale. But this is what the space looked like. We were so excited to get started. There's basically 2 rooms separated by a mantle, but we laid out all the artwork and put roughly where we wanted some pieces to go. And this part actually took a really long time. Luckily, I was working with, once again, such an amazing group where everyone was super understanding and selfless when it came to deciding what artworks were going to get what wall. Everyone was just super selfless and just wanted the exhibition to look good and just so easy to work with, and everyone was listening to each other and flexible to other people's needs, basically. But I just had to quickly head out to the shops to grab some flowers because one of the ceramicists loves seeing Alana in the wild, by the way. That was a great sight to see, made my day. One of these artists has these sculptures that are going on the end of the mantle, and so we just thought some flowers would help frame the mantle better. But when I got back, the amazing gallery manager had managed to hang so much stuff up and we could finally start to see the space come together. But basically when all the hanging was done, we had to start to get ready because it was open at 5, so I went over to the ceramicist Sarah's house to get ready. And once I had done that, I had to staple about 50 of the floor plan sheets for people to take as they walk into the gallery, so they know pricing and everything. And a couple of the other artists and I took an Uber over to the Goodspace, and I think this was the moment we could finally relax and embrace what was about to happen and bask in our hard work. So guys, here is a tour of the entire show, Soft.